The man had just started down the zipline when the safety rope suddenly split open. Completely unaware, he was still shouting with excitement until he reached halfway and finally realized something was wrong. He quickly tried to brake by hand, but the very next second the rope snapped. Luckily, he had already grabbed onto the cable, leaving him dangling in midair with both hands and feet. By the time the safety worker arrived, the man was completely exhausted. Watching from the shore, his wife felt her heart leap into her throat. The rescuer told the man to hold tightly onto him, but after only a few seconds, the man's hand slipped and he fell. His wife immediately asked someone nearby to call an ambulance, then rushed down the cliff by taking a shortcut. Using the decorations along the zipline as reference points, she managed to locate the approximate place where he had fallen. She quickly dialed his phone and followed the ringing sound until she found her badly injured husband. At first, it seemed like nothing more than a tragic accident. But strangely, when the ambulance finally arrived, they refused to let the wife ride along with him no matter what. Since the couple were traveling abroad, Gina couldn't understand what anyone around her was saying. In order to make sure her husband received treatment as soon as possible, she had no choice but to give in. She took the business card they handed her and let the ambulance leave first. Then she jumped onto a motorcycle and anxiously followed behind it. When she saw the vehicle enter the town, she assumed the hospital must be close. But just then, another car suddenly shot out from an intersection. Gina crashed hard, and by the time she managed to get back on her feet, the ambulance had completely disappeared. It almost felt as if everything had been arranged by someone behind the scenes, deliberately trying to separate the young couple. Sure enough, when Gina arrived at the hospital, she was shocked to discover that her husband had never been brought there at all. She nearly broke down. They had come out for what was supposed to be a happy honeymoon, yet somehow her husband had vanished right under her nose. She went on to ask at several other hospitals, but every answer was the same. By then it was already the middle of the night, and Gina hurried to the police station to report her husband missing. The officers simply handed her a form and told her to fill it out and go home to wait for news. At this point, Gina was mentally at her limit. She needed someone to share the burden. Soon, her husband's family arrived. Accompanied by relatives and friends, Gina returned to the police station and asked to meet the chief. He then led everyone to the zipline where the accident had supposedly happened. But to their surprise, the safety worker insisted that the zipline hadn't even been operating that day, and claimed he had never seen Gina or her husband before. The husband's disappearance suddenly became even more mysterious. After 2 days of frantic searching, there was still no progress. Gina's father-in-law even began to suspect that the entire disappearance had been staged by Gina herself. In truth, he had never approved of this daughter-in-law and always believed she had married his son for money. His accusation chilled Gina to the core. She quickly sent the family away, not wanting them to stay and make things worse. Based on everything she knew so far, the most suspicious person was still the zipline safety worker. So Gina went back to find him again, determined to catch him off guard this time.